Well, it's been a couple weeks since I've done an updated video on the Hondamatic project, and I've been doing a lot of work. So I have the battery box made and mounted. The rear brake setup is done, and I've got the forward controls on. I don't know if I'm going to keep that brake pedal or not. It's a little big. I don't know, it might look a little out of place. I did add a bolt onto the forward controls and over to a lug on the frame just to give some extra strength to that. And then I had to make a spacer up top for the forward control on this side. On the other side here, got a very clean look. I have the pedal off right now. With this being a Hondamatic, I don't need to worry about any type of a shifter over here. The shifter for high-low on the Hondamatic is right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a suicide shifter because you just have to go back and forth between the high and low. That shouldn't cause any problems. And then I have an electrical box made. So that's a piece of 5-inch exhaust tubing. And then I made a domed cap for this end, and that one's welded in place and cleaned up. And then on the other side of the bike, I've got that cap set up so it'll slide off. And I still have to put a couple little threaded sleeves on there and a couple of screws in to hold that in place. The gas tank is now mounted, and what I did here is I just went ahead and drilled a hole in the tab on the rear and also on the front. And then I made a bung that's threaded that drops down into a hole in the frame. So it was pretty easy. I marked the holes on the tabs, drilled those, put the frame and put the tank up on the frame, and then I used a center punch and punched the holes for the bungs. And I just drilled them a tiny bit oversized. And got the gas tank all lined up and centered and leveled. And then went ahead and tack welded those bungs in place. I also mounted the sprotor on the other side. I'll move around here. So that tab that holds the sprotor, the one that came with the sprotor wasn't quite big enough, so I went ahead and took a piece of 1/4 inch and I machined a groove in that and then made it bigger so that it would come down. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but I've got it set up so that it'll be welded along the bottom of the frame, and then it will also get a weld through here, so that'll be nice and strong. It's just tacked into place right now. When I pull it apart to do the finish welding, that'll all happen. So the caliper for the sprotor is mounted. Rear fender back brace is all done and in place, so that fender is incredibly strong. I don't know if somebody could sit on it and ride, but shouldn't have to worry about it going anywhere just with a rider on it. So the next step is going to be mounting coils and putting a couple of tabs on for some grounds and things like that. But it's getting close to being buttoned up to the fab part, at least anyway. And I'll be able to pull it apart hopefully in the next few days and start working on getting all the finished welding done, get ready to powder coat the frame.